first myth, velocity, right? The rumor that you need 330 kilometers an hour in the tunnel. Uh, so we're going to explain this in terms of what skydivers are going to say. So a skydiver might go for a jump and they're going to say, well, I flew over 330, 340, 300, 380 kilometers an hour or whatever. Actually, here you're going to see a video of one of the. Oh, yeah. Here you're going to see a video of a skydiver jumping a speed dive, and he's going to get over 400 kilometers an hour, up to 450 kilometers an hour. I would challenge you to find someone that could fly that in a wind tunnel. I don't believe there's a single person. I've flown up to 300 and just over 300, and you can barely move. Like you move your head, and you're going to take off God knows what speed. And the reason is air density, right? Up at 4,000 meters, 12,000 foot, the air's much less dense. There's a lot less air friction. You're going to pass through the wind a lot faster. Whereas when you're at sea level, air's much more dense. So how much is being pushed into you is much more, even though there's less speed. So another way to explain this is with Felix Baumgartner's stratospheric jump. He was up at about 180,000 foot, I think, so high that you needed supplementary oxygen and basically a full astronaut suit to simply do the jump to survive up there. And that's because the air is so thin, and he broke the sound barrier by jumping through this. Yeah, it's just impossible to do that kind of thing in a wind tunnel.
Andy.
You just wouldn't be able to move. In fact, at 1,000 kilometers, you're still going to be going up even when you're completely vertical and tight. No, the answer is no. You don't need 330 kilometers an hour. So to investigate what sort of speeds are used in the wind tunnel, we can look at the World Championships that's just happened. At the lowest end of things, you've got 150 kilometers an hour, between 150 and 170 kilometers an hour is being used by the pros, the pro belly flyers, where they use much more surface of their body when they're flying horizontally. And yeah, as you can see, they're using 150 kilometers an hour here. So nearly half of the max tunnel output. On from there, we've got freestyle flyers, dynamic flyers. They're going to use an average of 248 kilometers an hour. And these guys are going to be flying pretty much all positions. They're going to be flying vertical, upside down, horizontal, head up. Pretty much everything you can possibly do is happening on these speeds. And then only one of the athletes at the World Cup really maxed out the speed. And he's really like, yeah, he's an iconic flyer, and he's you're not going to see it elsewhere much more than in this situation. So yeah, the answer is a resounding no. You don't need 330 kilometers an hour. I think I'll pass to Arnis for the next question.
So hello everyone, I'm the CTO at AERODIUM, and I'll keep talking to you regarding this team. Now, when do you actually need more speed? If we're talking, when we're talking about speed in the wind tunnel, what we're actually talking about is the lift. The lift that creates the force on the flyer's body that actually helps you stay up in the air. So, for example, if you imagine having a wind tunnel, for example, in New York, which is basically at the sea level, and let's say the maximum speed in this tunnel is 260 kilometers per hour. If you would take the same wind tunnel and move it to Bolivia, to let's say La Paz, at 3,600 meters above sea level, due to the decrease in air density, the same wind tunnel, you would actually need to see 310 or above kilometers per hour in speed to actually create the same lift. So what this means is that it's not just the speed number itself, it's the combination between the speed and the air density that actually creates the lift that the flyer is experiencing, and the lift that is needed to actually fly in different positions. Now, once you move up in this higher altitude, there are two ways basically how you can achieve this extra speed. So the easiest way, obviously, is you need to increase the speed of the fan. That is one option, but let's say your system is limited to a certain RPM for the motor. So the other option that we use is we have adjustable pitch of the fan blades, which we can then change and adjust during the tests of the wind tunnel to make sure that the speed experienced for the flyer is actually what is promised and what the flyer requires to perform his desired act in the air. So to summarize, it's not just the speed, it's both. It's combination of the speed and the density that you need to take into account. So don't fall for simple marketing tricks. And this is one of those times when bigger, or in this case faster, is not always better, or sometimes even unnecessary.